Yep, I want to introduce myself. My name is Javon Anderson. I'm an actor, and I want to shout out Diamond Cuts. What a fantastic crew, man! You guys keep killing it.
Hello,
All
everyone.
right.
Today we're here with Javon Anderson. He stars in a new movie that you could watch on HBO Max called No Sudden Move. How you doing today, Javon?
Good, good. How about yourself?
Great, man. Great to have you on here. We actually connected in a funny way. This is the power of social media. I watched the movie. I tweeted that I liked it, and he happened to like the tweet, so I reached out for the interview, and now we're here.
Oh yeah, and I appreciate that, man. Thank you for reaching out. I'm glad to be on the show.
Of course, bro. So let's talk about your upbringing. I know you're from Detroit. You grew up in Detroit. Just tell people about your upbringing in Detroit and how you got into like acting.
Okay, so yep, like you said, I grew up in Detroit. I went to Chadsey High School. I played football there. I actually have a background in football, so I went to Wayne State as well to play football. So
Oh, talk
acting was
about that a
something
little
that
bit.
kind of oh yeah. So yep, I was a nose tackle. I was man, I came out of high school at roughly 280, 285. Got to Wayne State, bulked up to about 290, 300, man, to get in that position. And I went out there for a semester, and it really wasn't what I thought it was. No knock against football. It's just that I didn't see myself making that my career path. So after that, I kind of switched gears and I went into the business field, and I was in the finance, worked at a bank. Like everything I kind of did prior to acting was all somewhere in the financial realms when I was going to Wayne State. And then out of the blue, I had got a call from my aunt saying, "Hey, they're doing this casting call for a film called Conviction downtown." It really wasn't downtown. I want to say it was about 40 minutes from downtown. So I literally, man, I got off work at like, let's say 4 o'clock in the afternoon, drove there, got there like 5 o'clock, and I stood in line. And this was the winter time. It was cold. I had on dress shoes and a whole baker outfit. And I stood in line for like 5 hours, literally from like 5 to 10 o'clock, just to sign up to be an extra in this project. And for me, it was like I wanted to leave, but she was like, "No, just see what it's like. You never know what you will like with this." So I kind of was like, like kept it in the back of my mind, and it helped me to stay out there. So once I got picked to be an extra in the film, it literally, man, blew my mind to like a whole different world, so to speak. And I was so fascinated with it that I just wanted to just dive head first at that point. Like I wanted to go take classes. I wanted to go get in the theater. I wanted to just learn everything that I could about film. So from that point on, I was doing tons of extra work throughout the summer, throughout the rest of that year. I was in Real Steel, I was in Harold and Kumar 3 as an extra, Detroit 187. So it pretty much a lot of projects that came through Detroit, I was on it and jumping into it. But from there, that itch of just being an extra led me to say, no, I want to really be an actor and actually, perform and show people that I actually can do the acting part as well. So I started doing short films, projects like that to kind of build my demo reel up, build my resume up really. And then at that point, I ran into a good buddy of mine named Arthur Cartwright on set. I was an extra, and I got bumped up to be his stand-in. So at that point, we connected and talked about agencies and who he was with, and he gave me a good word with this agency. I went and signed with them, and then from there, just started getting auditions, doing commercials. I've done a couple commercials lately. I've got a Consumers Energy print gig that's out right now. I've got a Goodman and Active commercial that's circulating around right now. I've got a photo shoot for Rip It that's been kind of shooting around. So booking commercial work and things like that. And then I transitioned over to films. Um, my first my first TV role was on Low Winter Sun. Actually, that was a film that was a TV series that was on AMC that was shot here. And from there, I booked that project. I booked Royals Family Christmas with Vivica Fox, Debbie Morgan. I booked the end of the tour with Jesse Siegel, Jesse Eisenberg. So it just kept kind of progressing and building up my resume, so to speak. And all of that drive and experience of all those different projects and being an extra led me to the audition for No Sudden Move. And now, of course, there were some bumps in the road in between there, but that preparation of different projects and just staying down and building my resume up really helped me get a good background down for when I went in to audition for that character line. And I was able to build backstories up and build, and, give a life to that character. So that really is where my story came from. Started off as a football player, then went to finance, and then just ran into acting, and now this is my actual passion now.
Okay, so let's take it back just a little bit. So back to Detroit. How was it growing up for you in Detroit? Like, what was your experience? Because I'm from New York City, still haven't been to Detroit, but it's a special place with a lot of history, especially in Black culture. So how was it for you growing up out there?
It was good, man. I had some really good experiences growing up in Detroit. One thing I will say is, for me, acting wasn't something that was known, or from my area that I grew up from, my neighborhood. That wasn't something that was like big that on me at that time. It was more so sports and things like that, or we're just going off to school. So that culture of that industry and that world from where I grew up with, from where I grew up at, is a completely different magnitude of worlds. But I will say Detroit has helped out a lot with the building of me as far as a person and different experiences and life experiences I've had. The community that I grew up in, as of right now, everyone's doing good things and everybody's still keeping in touch. People are starting businesses, and like it's a pretty tight knit community that I come from, that I grew up in. So I had a lot of support from that community. I've always had it in whatever I did, and that's just something that Detroit has been good for me for. It's been a very tight knit community from where I'm from.
Okay, so now you grow up, you're going through high school, you're playing football, you attend Wayne State. And I read something that said about an audition. I don't know if this is the audition that you just spoke on, but you had to lose like up to 135 pounds for the role.
Oh yeah. Well, not so. This is the actual story behind that. It wasn't necessarily that I had to lose the weight for the role. It was more so the fact that I lost the role due to the weight that I had at that time. So the project was Goosebumps, and I went out for a character who was a nose tackle size character, and I was right up that alley. I got out there. Well, first off, I did my self tape audition. They loved me and everything like that. I started moving up to the top of the list, and then I got flew out to California and went to Universal Studios and actually got to do an audition there. They kept me around, man. I got to do chemistry reads with Jack Black, and from the notion, everything was good. Acting wise, performance wise, I was giving them what they needed, and then they kind of doubled back to me and was like, you know what, everything was good, but it's just this character, we want to kind of go in a different direction. And they didn't knock me, but they just said, with the size that you are, it just doesn't necessarily fit that. And that's a part of the acting thing. You don't always you don't always get a role just because of, the performance. A lot of it does go into appearance sometimes. So that made me so determined to say, wow, I got so close and I almost had this opportunity to be in this project, but I lost it due to my appearance. So when I flew back to Detroit, I was motivated and determined. I mean, like, it was another notch because I felt like I didn't want something to hold me back that was in my control. Because appearances or things like that, that's within your control, or even your acting, that's within your control. You can take training and do different things. So I looked at that the same realms. I came back home. I got motivated. I joined this weight loss challenge at my previous job, and I started losing a couple pounds here and there. Found my niche, man, and I lost 135 pounds within 7 months from that. And a lot of that drive was because I wanted to, prove that this is something that I got control of. This is something that won't hinder me for my career or moving forward in my life. So, yep, it drove me to lose the 135 pounds that I did and keep that weight off because it's been more beneficial for my career. I've gotten a lot more auditions. Opportunities are a lot better due to that significant weight loss. So it plays a huge factor in this industry, and it's something that you got to take seriously if you want to be an actor.
Okay, definitely. And aside from acting, you're also a film director yourself. So how did
I do have a go ahead.
Yeah, how did you get into directing as well? Not just
man, I had some passion projects that I always wanted to see, so to speak, right? So you watch these good films and good projects and you get an idea of your own, and if someone doesn't make that project, you create that project, so to speak. And being in Michigan, we're not one of the biggest film industries here. So it's kind of far in between when a project is coming here. So in order to compensate on that, I went to the realms of creating my own projects and writing my own scripts. So that's something that I get to do, as well as doing other people's projects, is do my own passion projects where I can kind of showcase the actor or the character that I want to showcase, or the message that I might want to deliver to an audience that might not be getting out here, is something that I could put on myself. So it kind of led me to that double side, and it's been very beneficial as an actor. When you learn both sides of the camera, it's an intuitive tool that you want to use moving forward, because you really get to kind of understand a whole different direction when you're approaching a character or a role.
All right, so I'm gonna put you on the spot here. What do you enjoy more, being behind the camera or in front of the camera?
In front of the camera, honestly, man, I love to give a performance. I love to make people feel a performance or give a good message whenever I'm acting. So I love the in front.
Okay, that's what's up. All right, so now we're gonna talk about No Sudden Move. So me myself, I'm bored. I'm at home one day. I'm on HBO Max and I see this movie. I see Don Cheadle on it. So I'm like, okay, this got to be good. So I click on it. I watch the movie. It's a crazy movie. It's like the storyline's crazy. You don't know what's gonna happen until you watch it all the way through. So how did you get that role? Yeah, how did you get that role into No Sudden Move?
So I had gotten the audition through my agency back in 2019, and it was through the I Group, and I wound up going in. I did my first tape audition at the agency with the casting director, and it was sent in to the director, and then I just actually got director's choice for that role. And that's like that doesn't too much.
Explain that to people who don't know like the movie terminology, because I don't know what that means either.
Okay, so what that means is typically when you go out and you audition for a project, especially a studio film, there's usually a audition process that you go through. You don't typically audition one time and get that role. I've been in a scenario where I've had 5 or 6 callbacks for a specific role, because you have to go through so many clearances on, if the studio wants you, the directors, producers, everybody's got to kind of sign off on you. So typically you always are going through an audition, then a callback phase. Now, like I said, it can be 1, 2 callbacks. It could be up to 6 callbacks, but very seldomly are you getting a director's choice, which is where the director is overriding everybody and superseding that specific actor for that part. And for me, that's what exactly happened with Steven Soderbergh. I got director's choice, which was huge, because that specific role of Lonnie, that role, man, it's so many higher level actors that could have gotten that role, and for him to actually choose me and to be director's choice meant a lot to me from him. And I'm very appreciative for that, because like I said, that's something that doesn't typically happen. It's usually a lot of red tape before you can book a role, and with that one, it was just like one audition, booked, and on next.
All right, talk about it too. Like, what did that do for your confidence? Because obviously you're still kind of new to acting, but to get that, not having to go through all the trial, but just get the role, like, was that a boost for your confidence?
Oh yeah, it definitely solidified a lot of things for me as far as confident wise, man, because as an actor, you're used to a lot of rejections and a lot of different things. And to be able to have someone like Steven Soderbergh, I mean, his catalog is ridiculous. And for him to see that I'm able to perform at his level of what he wants out of his film, it just 100% boosted my confidence level on knowing that this is where I can go to and this is where I belong, so to speak. And like you said, the cast alone is ridiculous. So for him to allow me to have that role, to perform with Don Cheadle and Benicio del Toro, it meant that he had a lot of confidence in me as an actor. So that also boosted my confidence as well, because this man is willing to say, hey, I believe that you can satisfy this part of Lonnie. And he gave me that role. So it just made me feel tons of better as an actor, knowing that I'm able to perform at the level of those Oscar nominated and Oscar winning actors.
How was it working with Don Cheadle? Like, that's a legend.
You come up in here, you ain't show me no badge. You ain't even flash forward. You know what I'm gonna do for you? I'm gonna whoop your ass. And then I'm gonna whoop your ass. Kenny.
Oh yeah, I mean, like, it's like a dream come true, man, to be honest with you. Like, I watched this man in so many films, dating back to Rush Hour 2, and it's like, to be able to sit across from him at a table and to go over lines and to be able to rehearse with him, it was like the most amazing experience I've ever had so far, to speak, as an actor. And his level of professionalism is something that it is literally up to the A-lister level of professionalism, man. I mean, we were in a conversation, just chatting. He asked me, hey, you want to go over some lines, do a rehearsal? I'm like, yeah, let me get my script out. He goes right in the character, got his lines ready and everything. And it just turned me to another level, like, oh, wow, okay, let me step up and come up to the plate with you and match you on where you're at. And it was just like a learning experience, so to speak, watching him, man. It was like a master class, sitting and watching him go from Don Cheadle to Curtis Goings, and like seamlessly.
All right, and then your character in the film, Lonnie, right?
Yes.
The film is based in Detroit. So was it easy? Was it easy for you, you know, just growing up in Detroit and maybe seeing certain people for you to tap into that character? Because, you know, it's based in your city, things that is in your environment.
So funny thing, but it is based in Detroit, and one thing that this film did do for me is it actually taught me a lot more about Detroit that I didn't know about. A lot of my younger generation, people who are in my age range, we don't too much know about the Black Bottom Detroit, and we don't know about a lot of things that happened back in the 50s and how prominent it was for us back in the 50s. So for me, that was really more of an eye opener and like a learning lesson while watching that film. So it really showcased a lot for a lot of Detroiters, especially myself, and seeing some history and seeing how, you know, rich our city was back in the day before a lot of things kind of went down their little spirals. But it was more so a very learning experience for a lot of Detroiters and myself.
Okay, and before we get off the topic of the films, I'm gonna put you on the spot once again. You worked with Don Cheadle. You say you worked with Vivica A. Fox, and there's probably a bunch of other people in between. Who would you say has been your favorite to work with so far, actor or actress?
Actor or actresses. I would honestly say Don Cheadle, man, because it was like playing tennis or a basketball game where, you know, you shoot a three or I shoot a three, now somebody's got a slam dunk, and it was like a good sparring match for us. Like just a little tidbit between me and you. On our scene in No Sudden Move, my largest scene, that was a lot of improv on him. And it was like it caused me to be up to another level, man. And like I like I said, I haven't had that experience where I was having to step up to an A-lister's level and perform exactly where he's performing at. Because man, when Steven Soderbergh shoots, there's not a lot of rehearsal or nothing. It's more so you get there, you stage your blocking, and it's go mode. So with Don Cheadle, it was the most fun experience because it had to bring me up another notch. It made me have to take everything up another notch. Like literally, man, after a shoot, I'll be going back to my hotel and reading my script for tomorrow because I'm like, this man is on fire right now. Like I got to be able to at least keep up, you know, to support his character in his film and deliver what I need to deliver.
Okay, and then the next question was, do you have a favorite director so far that you've worked with?
Steven Soderbergh, to be honest with you, man. I have never shot with anyone who shot like him. The professionalism and the speed that he shoots at is unheard of for me. And I mean he was so humble and down to earth, man. Like my first time coming on set, I didn't even see him. There was a camera being moved around and he comes from up under the camera and just say, "Hey, I'm Steven Soderbergh," you know, introduces himself. We talk for a couple of seconds, then he's gone, disappears. He's somewhere under the camera getting ready to shoot. And it's like it was an experience and a style that I wasn't used to because a lot of times people want to tell you how to do certain things or direct you more hands-on. And he was more so, let you get in your element. Let me let you perform and I'll critique you as needed be. So that experience alone, it was one of the best experiences that I've ever had as an actor on set.
All right, that's great. And before we wrap up the interview, let people know anything, you know, any films, any projects, or anything you're involved with that may be coming out in the future.
Okay, one of my latest films I just shot not too long ago, The Bad Girls 2, is a film that's shot here in Detroit with some with a decent cast. And actually, by you being in New York, Mano was actually in this film.
Oh wow!
Yep. So that'll be coming out soon. I'm actually shooting a Netflix show coming up. I can't disclose the details just yet. I just signed my contract, but I've got a Netflix project that'll be coming out. I want to say either the end of 2021 or beginning 2022. And then I've got a commercial that I just shot the other day for Volkswagen. So I've got a couple things in the works that I've got going on. So it's a couple things that you could be on the lookout for me for. As well as I'm getting married in a few days. August 22nd is my wedding date. So I got a busy schedule.
That's that, man. Congrats.
Oh, man. Thank you. I appreciate that. It's definitely a blessing.
All right, for sure. And then before we get off here, let people know where they can follow you at, whether it's Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. I know the actresses, you have the IBM. Tell them everything.
Yep, you can find me on IMDb at Javon Anderson. I'm also on Facebook under the same name, Javon Anderson. My Instagram handle is Javon_Anderson_, as well as my Twitter handle is the same name. So I can be found on any one of those social media sites.
All right, Javon, I want to thank you again for taking your time out today to kick with us. We learned a lot about you. We got to learn a little bit about Detroit and your acting career and history. So I just want to thank you, man.
Oh man, no, I thank you, man. It was a pleasure for you bringing me out, man. I'm happy to be on the show. I can't wait to see the cut. I know it's gonna be amazing, man. And anytime, just let me know and I'll be back on.